part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action. This is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Birthright, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. Now part of the Press Play Podcast Network, we are dedicated to all things related to DC Comics with a strong focus on Superman and all things Kryptonian. We discuss movies, TV shows, games, and of course, comics. I'm your host, Tyler, the Superman of Blue, the Man of Tomorrow. And in with me is the Superman of Red, the Man of Steel himself, James Cole. Cole.
Yo.
What up? Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on?
James the hype man comes in like, time to bust it down, say what? And like, just like, okay, this podcast changed. Welcome, James.
That's what we about.
Let's see here. Not a whole lot of news going on, but a little bit we'll get into here. We got some new Super Pet posters, which were pretty cool. You know, they had little pun type things with them. You know, they call him Bart Kent. That's funny. But, you know, my favorite was Ace's. He doesn't take sit from anyone.
Yeah, that was funny. That was the best one.
We are a month away, roughly, from the release, give or take a little. And I'm still excited for that movie. I'm glad there hasn't been, like, more trailers, but there's been little TV spots and stuff, and I'm pretty excited for that film.
Yeah, well, I think TV spots would get seen by more kids, you know, with all the cartoon channels they have. So I think that's definitely the route to take with that. But I'm looking forward to taking the kids to go see that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. You know, it's part of our huge July focus. Even though it comes out at the end of July, which kicks over into August, which sucks, but whatever. You know?
Right after my birthday.
My birthday. Let's see. We got those. We got the trailer for Harley Quinn Season 3, which drops in July. And wait, hold on a second. Hold on. That's not a beer. That's my Chris Bubbly Pomegranate Blueberry.
No, I'm drinking a beer.
James went the other way tonight.
Yeah, I went the other way.
I really like that they dropped the trailer for Harley Quinn Season 3 about a month less than until it premieres to build the hype. So we're not...
Right.
That just makes me happy because I'm tired of like getting stuff so far out and being like, oh, yeah.
I do like how they've shortened that window over the last few years. But, you know, talking about the Harley Quinn trailer, like that first image they release of the Court of Owls, like you nailed that right on the head.
Yeah, let's back up a tick. Brian's like, yay, the court. And I'm like, is this Eyes Wide Shut? I hadn't watched the trailer, and then you messaged me like,
yeah, no, you said that when the image was released. The trailer wasn't released for like another day or two.
Oh man,
and you freaking called it. I think it was the next day that the trailer was released after that image. And like you freaking nailed it. It was hilarious. As soon as I saw that and the Grandmaster said that, I freaking cracked up.
And
it makes absolute sense though.
Quinn? Yeah, it's 7/28. So yeah, like I said, roughly a month until that's released. I'm excited to have my favorite King Shark back.
Absolutely.
He was my favorite part of that show.
Yeah. Well, the trailer was pretty funny. I think I think season 3 is going to be, you know, that show's on its own level.
Yes.
When it comes to it. So like to say that it's gonna reach a new level is just, I mean, it's gonna be on the same level. It's just gonna, it's its own thing.
It's like David Pumpkins, its own thing. I make the randomest connections to stuff. Speaking of random, on July 19th, you will be able to purchase Zack Snyder's Justice League digital copy. And rumor is it'll have bonus features.
Really?
And if that's the case, then they're going to sucker me into buying it for a third time.
I know.
One is because I love Snyder's commentary. And that was really random that came down, and my friend messaged me. He was like, "Hey, dude, you got to check this out." I'm like, "Okay, what's up?" And then I was like, "What? For real?"
Man, you know what? I mean, they're especially with the new people running the show. You know, if they're gonna do this a year after the movie's been released, and 8 months, 9 months after it came out physically, and the only place you could stream it was HBO. I mean, if they're doing this again, releasing it this way, they're definitely looking at if people are spending their money to see Zack Snyder's
work of art.
To see Zack Snyder's work of art.
Heck yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you know, that was one of the big selling points to get people to sign up for HBO Max. It's kind of had its thing. It's had its physical release. They're treating it right, like a movie. And HBO Max has been building its brand. So it's not...
Well, absolutely. I mean, I hope... Yeah, I mean, it's just, are people going to put their money, are people going to buy it again? Are people going to, you know, because some people don't buy physical anymore.
I mean...
So they never put their money into it. I mean, maybe they watch it on HBO Max, but maybe some people will purchase it that way, and then they're going to be people like you and me, where I got my physical from Amazon UK, and then I got my American release when it was released.
Yep, because we are insane.
And, you know, God forbid I put money towards buying another copy of it to show that I'm in support of that movie, you know?
I mean, they sucker me if it's going to have special features. If it
Absolutely.
has a commentary by Zack Snyder, then I'm going to end up buying it, because
I absolutely
bought
something extra, something more to the movie and everything behind it.
I mean, I bought BVS on 4K a second time with the re-release when they remastered certain shots in the different aspect ratio, because this time it had a commentary from Snyder. So I was like, all right, it's on sale. Sucker, I bought it. But so that's something that we'll keep our eyes out to. Next thing on the list here, to-do list, Gotham Knights Robin trailer. Did you watch it?
I did.
It was cool. I'm pumped for the game. Like, me, the wife, the kids, and Brian, he just happened to show up at the house right before we watched it. All watched it together. It was like a family thing. And then we watched the trailer for Hocus Pocus too. So, yeah, I like it. It's cool. And they're giving each character a little bit of like power. Like he has like a teleport power from a device. So, tech from the Justice League Watchtower teleporter. Yeah. So he can move like from building to building and teleport and move like in fights or battle. See, that's cool. It's not stupid like the soul energy from Jason Todd. And
yeah, Brian, that one was a little weird when I saw that. I was like, well, I guess everybody's got to travel some way. Kind of feel weird that they gave Dick Grayson the Fortnite glider.
Yeah. Brian said that he was looking up the story that in this story, Jason Todd has always been the Red Hood. He was never a Robin. He was always been the Red Hood, and then Batman kind of brought him into the fold, trained him up right, made him a partner. So I'm like, okay, that's not too far out. You know, it's one of those things like, did you really have to do that? But whatever. You know. So yeah, that's that.
That'll be interesting, you know. I mean, just to see if that's the case, just to see if they do a good job telling a different original take on the character.
Yeah. So that's all I got.
You know, because Arkham Knight was okay. The twist, I think everybody saw coming
that they denied
when it came down to it.
They denied it. We called it. We were right.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. Suck it. Suck it. Anyways, that's all the news we have. Let's keep this wagon train going. So, let's see here. Not a whole lot in our comics. I just have World's Finest issue 4.
Yeah, and I'm very sad right now because I have not gotten to read just about anything in the last week.
Did you read World's Finest number 4?
I did not. I wanted to.
This is how bad we suck, people. Because we plan, and then we don't get to do anything. You know why? Life. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Just to get a quiet corner, like, without it being really late or really early, to be able to do it can be difficult sometimes.
I'm going to give everyone here a sneak peek to something. I am going to be guesting once again on Digging for Kryptonite, and we will be discussing the Superman serials. So I have been binging the Superman serials. The Superman serials are not meant for binging. It has been a task. I'll say that. It has been a task. I had seen, a couple here and there, but I am finally watching them all straight through. Yeah.
Talking about 1940s serials, right?
1948 Kirk Allen, the original Superman on film.
Yup.
Yeah. So, yeah. We're going to keep on moving on. Did you get a chance to watch any Superboy this week?
I once again regretfully say I did not.
So James didn't get to watch any Superboy either. That's okay. You know why?
Because feel so terrible.
Life. Did you watch Superman and Lois?
That I did watch.
Yes.
The only thing I've been able to fit.
We got one. Yes.
I wouldn't be here if I didn't get that one.
Episode 14, World War Bazaar. All right. So this is the penultimate episode of the season 2. And it was good. Let me give you a quick rundown here. What's like on The Office? Give you that rundown. Superman is rendered powerless by Ali's attack, and the others rally as the two Earths merge. A weary Lois holds a vigil at Superman's beside. Jonathan and Jordan continue to worry about their father, who seems more human now than ever. John Henry and Natalie work together to figure out the best way to defend against Ali Olson's powers. Dum, dum, dum.
Oh, that's not too bad.
So, yeah, let's get into this episode. James, I'll let you go first. I've been talking a lot.
Well, I really enjoyed this episode. For our penultimate episode for this season. It definitely gives some big stakes You know, Allie is trying to merge the Earths. Clark is powerless. Superman is powerless. They have Lana and John coming over, trying to merge with their parts, and Jordan getting in the middle. So, yeah, it was, and Clark not getting his powers back anytime soon.
Yeah, poor Clark. We find out he's basically drained human, and he has John Henry fly him to the fortress to meet his mom. You know, got to introduce your friends to your mom, unless you're me and your mom's complete psycho.
Right.
You know?
Which I must say, I am liking Lara being the person that he speaks to in the fortress, other than Jor-El. The way that they brought in her Sunstone and bringing her in there to talk to, it's really good. I'm coming to like it.
Yes, I agree. And let's see. We have in this episode, we get one of my favorite moments so far, just because, and we'll kind of get there. But Clark, they make the statement that Clark's cells are depleting, and that he could be a few days, a few weeks, maybe even years till he starts to charge back up. And we have a scene later where he's just sitting out in the farm. And the interesting part is, while the worlds are merging, like, it's very red. So not only is everything, he can't recharge, he's technically starting to get under a red sun and a red square sun, you know?
Yeah. They did have a line, Natalie and John are flying in orbit, and they're saying how that sun is phase shifting into the universe, how they're coming together, and that the radiation was only like 3% output, but it's growing fast.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's phasing into our reality pretty quickly.
And
it's pretty cool. I like that dialogue.
Allie's just like in the place between realms, between, spaces. Because I look at the Bizarro planet, okay, the way they're doing it here, kind of like the Upside Down from Stranger Things, like a parallel dimension more than another Earth. Because I feel like if they hadn't, I don't know, just because the Bizarre is like everything's backwards, and they're talking about merging people together to make them whole. I look at it more like that than being like merging Earth 1 and Earth 2 type thing, you know?
Right. Did we talk about how it's pretty cool that they're doing like everything Bizarro there, backwards speak, like
cars,
on the other side, driving on the other side, people are like almost dark, they're just doppelgangers of themselves, whether probably good or bad, but they're not like weird reverse creatures like the Bizarros are in the comics.
Yeah, they talk backwards because it's different here, so they're not like me, they're just talking backwards.
Yeah. I think they nailed how to bring Bizarros to at least this universe.
Because I did my homework. I recently watched the Bizarro episodes of Superboy, and it's interesting how they do the Bizarro on Superboy.
Kick me when I'm down.
Stay down, James.
Never.
James is more like, Clark in Man of Steel when he's holding onto the fence, bending it, trying not to get up and punch me in the face. We're jumping all over this. I don't care. What my favorite scene is when So first I gotta set it up. First of all, the most asinine part of this entire episode, you have world-altering huge stakes, and they're like, Lana, do you know anything about this? Yes. The mayor of a small blink-and-you-miss-it town knows about the altering change of the universe. I mean,
I never thought of it that way, but
granted, she does learn the truth because Lois, the DOD and Superman and all that fun stuff. But just the general thought of like, yeah, the first person he's gonna call, get me that Lana Lang, newly elected mayor of that Smallville. She's got to know what's up
of that town that's got like 12,000 people
or less. So that part I was like, really?
I did not think of it that way, and that's hilarious.
So that part, but Lana has a meeting, and she tries to tell Smallville the truth. She's trying to be a good person and tell Smallville the truth of what she's learned from Lois and Chrissy.
The old salty mayor's got to act like a prick.
Yeah, he's got to start ridiculing her and everything. Then Kyle tries to step up and say some things, but Clark shows up as Superman. And basically like, she's right. Everything she's telling you is the truth. And I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
And so they're in the high school because that's where you meet. That's where you meet is in the high school.
Hit him in the gut.
And I'm just like, come on, people. The old mayor's a douche. You can't see this, but I guess they didn't.
Yeah, it was totally a ploy. It was so easy to see, like, just at a time of crisis, trying to take advantage.
I'm just like, what? And so then the next scene is everybody she tells them to go home, be with the people they love, As the world starts kind of like blinking, blipping, flipping, flopping as it's being merged with the other world, which is interesting because Jania pointed out, she said, why is it that everything's turning bizarro if they're merging? Shouldn't there be like something bizarro, something normal, or like things caught in the middle or something? Like a real blending? I'm like, I don't know. That would be my thought. And he's talking to Sarah, and Lana walks in, she looks at Jordan, and Jordan, Sarah turns to look at her mom, and Jordan looks at Lana, and he, shakes his head, no, I didn't, kind of gives her this, no, I didn't say anything, I didn't do anything, just trying to be the nice, good kid that I am. And then doppelganger Lana drops in, and Lana and Sarah both like, oh my God, and Jordan just looks at her, then turns back and just yells, run, and his eyes heat up with his heat vision. And then he just turns and, boom, attacks Doppelganger Lana. It's my favorite part. Because he was, secretly, the only thing about the scene that made me mad was I figured he's fighting Doppelganger Lana, but at the same time, he could channel some of that anger he has towards regular Lana about not letting him talk to Sarah and really just beat the crap out of her. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it is pretty fresh.
He's just like, you don't let me talk to my girlfriend. And then John L. shows up, and he's threatening regular John. And part of me wondered if John would have had some secret inhaler stashed around the school or something, or knew his girlfriend had one or something, and he was going to bust out an inhaler and fight to help protect his dad. But Jordan busts in, and Jordan's fighting Doppel John and Doppel Lana, and he's getting a little beat. Clark's powerless. He's trying to do what he can. And then Natasha.
Yeah, he's getting slammed around pretty good.
This was my favorite part of the whole episode. That's why I'm talking in detail. Natasha, she's waiting on her dad. She doesn't know what's going on. She shows up with the hammer. Because I actually showed this scene to Solomon again, because Solomon actually really likes steel. And he was like, I like steel in this. I'm like, oh, yeah, watch this. And she throws the hammer, and I love how Jordan takes it, uses it, and swings back and pops Lana in the face with it. I'm like, yeah. And which leads to my favorite part at the end, where Sarah has her huge epiphany when she's talking to her mom, and she's like, oh my God, he wanted to tell me things. He kept holding back. He couldn't tell me. If I had known, I broke up with him. If I had known this, then like she's just like breaking it down. And then Lana's like, you can't tell nobody, this secret is something bigger and more than you even realize right now. And then Kyle walks in and they're like, can't talk to Kyle. And then Kyle gets blipped. Peace, Kyle.
He gets blipped.
See you on that. You get dusted, bro, like Thanos style. I know, it's other world, whatever.
No, he does though. I mean, he basically, yeah, because they talk about if you see doppelgangers and stuff. So I mean, that's like them crossing over into our Earth. Like, is he going the other way?
Yeah. Kyle just, he blipped. Because, okay, so here's my thing. Here's my guess, right? Like, I don't know where Kyle went. I said he went to hell, and Junia looked at me like, Tyler, seriously? I was like, I don't know. My thought is, because we get this line of dialogue earlier, okay? John L. states that as the merging happens, Clark's going to like basically disappear because there isn't another version for him to merge with. So I'm like, oh, what if there's not another Kyle?
I mean, it's possible. Like, some people who have doppelgangers could have had their doppelgangers on either Earth, killed in an accident or something.
Well, I mean, think about this. There's no doppelganger Sarah or Sophie. So, they would just cease to exist. I think that would be something that would have been a little bit more interesting to mess with that we never did,
Right. Well, I mean, we never saw them, but who's to say, like we said, maybe Lana got eradicated?
Well, I mean, remember, Lana married Tao and was single. So, I mean, the only way would be she would have had to recently been divorced or something, from Kyle. But we don't know the timeline of how long her and Tao had been married.
Yeah.
So it's just a thought, like that. Like what does that look like,
Yeah. Well, they do say when they're talking to Lana that basically when they merge, everybody will cease to exist. There'll be something, I mean, it's going to kill you and make you something new.
Yeah.
You're going to be something different. You're not going to be either one of your beings.
And that's kind of, and since Allie's the only one that's merged, I'm kind of wondering like what that means, what that looks like what is it? So, do we know? No, we don't. But,
I don't know. I've never met my Bizarro self.
Yeah, I haven't either. So, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe one day.
I have a debate about that. We'll talk off mic. But yeah, I mean, it was good. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else big. Like, I feel like there wasn't much going on up front, and then it was like the only other thing was Steele's kind of lost in the void. Natasha doesn't know she can't connect with her dad, and she's there at the farm with them.
Yeah, he goes in to try and stop Allie
he
from murdering.
I don't know why, but like when he like shot the rocket, it just made me think of War Machine in Iron Man 2, where he's like, I'm gonna hit him with the ex-wife.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
Yes, that's my second Marvel reference because I've been doing some Marvel rewatching with my son. Okay, people, we like all comic book stuff here. Okay.
Oh yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder's coming out soon. Might be the first Marvel movie I've seen in theaters since Far From Home.
So this means you just didn't see Doctor Strange?
No, I have not.
That's the only one that's been out since.
Well, I mean, I guess so. Black Widow was released during the pandemic. I guess that's true. Yeah, Far From Home did come out just before the pandemic.
Oh, you said Far From Home. Oh, why was I thinking No Way Home? Dang.
Yeah, no, Far From Home.
Oh, dang. So yeah, you missed Black Widow. You missed No Way Home.
Yep. Multiverse of Madness. Yep.
There's another one in there.
I did watch, of course.
Shang-Chi, The Eternals.
Oh, no, you know what? We did go see Shang-Chi. I forgot about that.
Dope.
That's the only one. Yep.
All right. So I think we're done with Superman.
But I was excited to see a Marvel movie done in like a kung fu style.
Yeah, they're at that point.
Like a kung fu movie in the Marvel universe. That's what I was looking at it as. And it didn't disappoint, I don't think.
Yeah. I think we're done with Superman and Lois. I think that's it.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've got...
They definitely, like, I don't want to say they skimped, but like I was telling Janias, a lot of times on shows, you can look at the penultimate episode, not so much on streamers, but like on these type of shows, the penultimate, a lot of times, will try to be a little bit smaller, more character-driven, so they can blow their budget more on the last episode for effects and stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like they didn't really do that. Like they still had great effects and scenes, like with Steel and Jordan and everything. And
yeah, they had John Henry in the Void, trying to stop Allie. They had John fighting. They did load the back end of the episode.
Yep, we had John L versus Jordan with Heat Vision versus Cold Vision.
Yeah,
which was awesome. Cold Vision's just weird. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, they got fire breath.
See, I mean, I guess that kind of makes. I don't know why. Like super breath, like. Because I always look at like they have super breath, not just freeze breath. They can control it. So like if Superman wanted to breathe hot air, he could. Maybe not fire, but he could breathe hot air just like he could breathe cold air. You know, he can control it and change how he wants to. You know,
right.
Anyways, I'm rambling. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah. A really good episode. Didn't disappoint. I had it was very enjoyable. Some tropes like the old mayor,
what a douche,
and the father going to, sacrifice himself to stop the bad guy.
Yep.
The hero down and out.
Yep.
Like Clark couldn't do anything, in this episode, so. I mean,
you can see how bad
I definitely hope that means that there's going to be a nice big Superman stuff in the finale, you know?
Because it's
didn't
waiting
get any
for
here.
Superman to lift her up.
You did send that line in the chat.
It is just my all-time now favorite like drop, and like it's one of those things I'm laughing to myself, and my wife's like, "What are you laughing at? You laugh at your own jokes." I'm like, "I know." I know I do. I can't help it, Jania. Okay? I find myself funny. But, all right. That's
At least you crack somebody up, right?
Exactly. That's going to do it for this episode of Krypton Report. Check us out online. All of our social. Find us at Krypton Report. Check out our Patreon where we do all kinds of stuff. We just launched our new show, The Supernatural Report. And if you notice on your feed, we actually did post the first episode of the Supernatural Report as a bonus episode in the Krypton Report feed. So if you are into Supernatural, check that out. And if you want to be part of it, just shoot us a message. And remember,
yeah, we have a good time talking about Supernatural.
And the good times are just going to start rolling.
Yep. Over there on Patreon.
Look up in the sky.
We just want to say, if you've enjoyed this podcast, please check out other podcasts on the Press Play Podcast Network. Remember to check out Krypton Report on all social media platforms. Go to linktree.com/Krypton Report. You find all of our information right there. And if you want to keep Krypton from exploding, join our $1 a month Patreon. That's right. For $1 a month, you'll get extra special content that you don't get on the main show, like movie commentaries and whatever else comes out of our mouths. So check it out, patreon.com/Krypton Report.
If you are like Tyler and James and can't get enough Super Talk, check out these other podcasts. Digging for Kryptonite, Supergirl Radio, The Last Sons of Krypton, the Superboy Legacy Podcast, All-Star Superfans, Superman the Animated Podcast, The Aspiring Kryptonians, Always Hold On to Smallville, Caped Wonder, The Geek of Steel, and Truth, Justice, and Hope Podcast.
Hey, we're going to press pause and hear a few words from our other podcasts on Press Play Podcast Network.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. Here's how Books with Brooks works. We read one book a month, and then we talk about it. Classics like Stephen King's The Shining, debut novels like We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and tons of other compelling, life-changing stories, one book and 1 month at a time. So come read along with us, and then listen in.
This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.